All the single furries. All the single furries. All the single furries. All the single furries.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more. Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop.
That's all this video becomes very deep fried at the end, so we're going to watch the rest of it. But I thought that might make for a funny intro. But yes, tonight we're going to be talking about some additional details about Tyler Robinson, his sick search history exposed. Now, a lot of stuff has come out about this guy in the last couple of weeks, obviously, but this is a genuine question for people in the chat. So HG Cupcake says, Tyler isn't the real killer. Seriously, don't be so stupid as to fall for this. What is your alternative? What is your alternative? Who is the person that did it, and what is their motivation? I might do a poll on this later in the stream to see what people think, but not right now because we've got a different poll running. But before we get into this story, a bit of, I guess, Halloween housekeeping, because it's a spooky month. There's two things I wanted to mention. First of all, this is a genuine question for the chat. So recently I bought this drone, right? Is it? Oops. Technical difficulties. Where is this thing? God damn it. Yes, I bought the Mavic 4 drone. I've talked about it. I know the chat's not that interested in it. Hold on. I've knocked over one of my lights. There we go. There we go. But anyway, and something interesting happened. I got an email from DJI. That is the drone company, right? And they sent me an email saying, you have something that belongs to us. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this about? Now, it turns out that in certain packages of this particular drone, they included this set. And this is an electronic ND filter. ND filter is a neutral density filter. And it's kind of neat. So usually you have an ND filter and it blocks a certain amount of light. Usually like something like a fourth of the light or half the light or something like that. This one is an electronic one, which means you can change it's like a variable density. Using, I guess it runs electricity through it or something, and it changes the density. But basically, it means that you don't have to switch off different densities based on lighting conditions, which changes, which is very cool. I was like, I didn't even know that was in the box. And it's N-word filter. No, it's not. But they said to me in the email, and they said, you're not supposed to have this. I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, we were going to include this in the box, but we decided it wasn't ready for market yet. So it wasn't supposed to be taken out before shipping. However, it says on the box that the electronic neutral density filter is included. And I didn't even know that was in there. So they're like, well, you know what? We'll do you a favor. Just send us back everything. Send us back the drone and send us back the ND filter. And then we'll send you back a replacement drone that doesn't have the ND filter. I'm like, what? I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep it. It's mine now. Maybe you shouldn't have included it. It says on the box. It says on the box that it's included. I think I'm going to keep it. But they're like, but it's not ready yet. It's forbidden technology. You can't be playing with that just yet. I'm like, well, I think I'm going to keep it. Well, I didn't say that to them, but I think that's what I'm going to do. They said that if I use it, it might interfere with the flight and maybe it'll be dangerous. I don't think so. How's it going to affect the camera? It's not going to make the drone fall out of the sky. So I think it's mine. I think it's mine. What do you think, chat? Should I give it back to them? Should I message them back saying like they can have it back, but they have to send me a new set of brand new neutral density filters or something? Because usually if you buy filters for a drone, it costs like an extra $200 or $300. They're pretty expensive for pieces of glass. But yeah, some people say they're necessary. It depends. It really depends on the shutter speed of the camera. But anyway, I just wanted to ask the chat. I'll review later and see what people think. I think I'm going to keep it though. I think I'm going to keep it. That's a little bit of a treat for me. Second of all, it is Halloween. It's spooky month time. Well, I mean, it's October. And I got sent this article, and this sounds fantastic because I want to do something spooky. And I've never heard about this before. But does this sound really interesting? So Inunaki Village is an urban legend in Japan. It's the Howling Village. In the 1990s, Japanese urban legend about a fictional village-sized micronation that rejected the Constitution of Japan. The legend locates that the village was near the Inunaka mountain pass in Fukuoka. So that's actually a place I would like to go. The real village, there's another village with this name, but it's not connected to the legend. But the legend says The legend says that the village is described as small and easy to miss in a forest located in Fukuoka Prefecture to the east of the Inunaka Mountains, next to the most upstream tributaries of the Inunaka Gawa. On the eastern edge of Wakamiya, the residents of the village refused to accept the Constitution of Japan and legitimacy of the Japanese government. Near the village entrance, a handwriting sign saying, "The village constitution is not in effect here." And there's some really cool like urban legends. So there was actually this is a real tunnel that was sealed off. Like, oh, interesting. And why was it sealed off? The origin spread. The area of old Inuyaka tunnel, or Inunaka really, has been considered a haunted due to nearby murders. The tunnel's construction was completed in 1949. A new tunnel was constructed nearby in 1975. The unused old tunnel became dangerous due to lack of maintenance. On December 6, 1988, 5 young men abducted and tortured a factory worker whose car they wanted to steal, burning him to death with gasoline inside the old tunnel. The perpetrators were arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. The entrances to the tunnel were sealed. In 2000, a dead body was found by the nearby dam. The first mentions of Inunaka Tunnel date back to the 1990s, when Nippon TV received a letter from an anonymous person which described the legend and a couple murdered in the village and urged the Nippon crew to visit the place. An anonymous letter was titled, "The Village in Japan That Isn't Part of Japan." Now, this also inspired a few horror films. There was a game on Steam, and there's also a Junji Ito, a manga called The Mysterious Tunnel. So this sounds really, really interesting. Apparently there's a manga, The Lost Village. I don't know, like, hold on a second, we're not there yet. This sounds really interesting. Like, I feel like, should I, this is the idea. Should I go down there? Should I drive down there and do like a on-the-ground investigation documentary, like exploring to see if I can find this lost village that's like mysterious and doesn't exist, and find this boarded up old tunnel, and maybe go hiking through the woods, and then I can fly the drone up through the woods looking for a hidden tunnel, in a hidden village that society says doesn't exist? That sounds really interesting to me. I don't know. I feel like we've got a little project here, especially for Halloween. More urban exploration, please. Yeah, I've done a little bit of urban exploration. There's a really cool website in Japan called Ruins Cat. So you go to Ruins Cat, and it tells you about. It's a Japanese site, but it has just like a bit Japanese abandoned stuff, and they have like new updates and things like this one. I don't know what this one's about. This one looks pretty cool too. Where is this? Looks like you got some got some coal workers. It says like a coal tunnel. It looks like which prefecture is this? This looks pretty awesome. Oh, that's spooky. That's a spooky tunnel. Let's see, which prefecture is this in? It usually says down the bottom or something. Maybe at the top, actually. That is in Hokkaido. That's in Hokkaido. I'm going to Hokkaido next week. That kind of works out. There's some really cool ones, though. Like, oh, that's neat. There's like a graffiti, but it's like the Spirit of the Forest from Mononoke. This one looks good, too. This one looks really cool. Where is this? I'm going to find it. It's this one's in Hokkaido. There's like a wait a minute. There's a Japan has its own Mount Rushmore. Wait, what the hell? Oh, it's like America Town, abandoned America Town. This sounds really interesting too. Like Western Village. Oh my goodness, where is Western Village? What is that? Ibaraki? I don't know. I think that's Ibaraki prefecture. I've never been to Ibaraki. That's kind of like north of Tokyo. What is it? There's like a Russian town too. Wait, which prefecture is this? Niigata. Oh, okay, that's not too far away. Abandoned Russian town that looks awesome. Like, because you might be wondering why there's all this abandoned shit in Japan, and that's because basically when the 80s like economic bubble happened, they had so much money they had no idea what to do with it. So a bunch of people just started all these. That looks really cool. So a bunch of people started these projects, and they just started funding basically whatever. And there's actually, I've been to a couple of the sites that were responsible for this, but anyway, the economic bubble collapsed, and then a lot of these places were abandoned or they just weren't economically feasible. But I've been to a couple of these like spots, and they're really, really interesting. Like I've been to this one. I've been to the house in the woods. This This was quite a cool story, actually. It's the family was actually, if I remember the story correctly, so it was a family in Wakayama, and they were responsible for making Japanese dyes. But then when the Japanese Sino War started, they started producing chemicals and gunpowder, and they became fabulously wealthy. And it is rumored that in this room, like this very room, well, not actually not that one, but let me see if I can find a picture of the room, because I've been to here, and the house is fantastic. It's so spooky. It's so like this room here, maybe. It's so cool. It's like a 4-story mansion just located in the woods of Wakayama. I filmed it actually, but where's the main hall? It's rumored that the discussions for the plans for the attack on Pearl Harbor took place in this very house. And yeah, this is like the loft house. I like climbed up here, and there's like all these old photos and stuff. And I was looking through negatives, and they seem like they're really interested in English. Actually, there's like a really spooky doll. It's like right here. There's like a little model plane of like a Zero. There it is. There it is. I actually saw that very model. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I wish I could buy this house and like fix it up, but I think it's impossible to really contact the family at this point. It's also where I found the haunted Legos that I didn't take, and now Valhalla was saying that I should take them, but I'm not going to, because that's you shouldn't. I don't believe in robbing old houses, but yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I'm really interested in this tunnel in particular. So maybe I'll see if I can find that. Love that it's not vandalized. It's been more vandalized since this happened. Like when I went there, it was more vandalized than these pictures. It's not like I'm the only person that went there. A bunch of like exploring type channels went there. It's usually, the good thing about this is they don't actually advertise the location. They just say the prefecture, and then you kind of have to find it yourself. So that's what I had to do. It's not like super crazy hard to find, but yeah. I wonder if there's any close to me. There's a lot of abandoned places in Gifu. This is like this one's an interesting one, actually. This is like an abandoned like strip joint, I think. Back from the 80s or something. Because they've got the just look at this this house, of course. It had to be like that. Oh, it's interesting. There's like a gooning chair at the top there. Yeah, this one as well, I think. It's like an old abandoned strip show place. Some of this stuff is, I'm going to be careful. There's actually there might be some nipples in here. So I won't advertise that. I bought it. Oh, this one's in Mie. I could go to Mie. It's an abandoned onsen town. Oh my goodness, look at this one. Oh my goodness. Aren't Japanese more respectful? Kind of. I went around to like the side of the lake in Shiga a couple days ago, which is about an hour away from me. And I found an abandoned, a little abandoned house. This is really cool. It's like a pool or an onsen, but it's like, it used to have a view of this like beautiful landscape, but then it's just the window is completely fallen out. Of course, you have to be careful if you go to these sort of places, because, you know, you may be trespassing if someone still holds the property rights to it. And then also they're very dangerous, of course, but that's part of the fun, right? This one looks, is this like an entire town that's abandoned? That's fascinating. Oh my goodness. Maybe we have to check this one out. We've already got some mosaic nips there. Perfect. You don't even have to blur them yourself if you make it out of a mosaic. There's no need to blur it, right? Or maybe this is just what Japanese people see. Who can say? Oh my goodness, this looks like a cool town though. It's like so spooky. It's like the entire. It's beautiful though, right? It's lewd. Yeah, I got to be careful. Sometimes there is some lewd images on this website, just from like old posters and stuff. Like when me, Max, and BP went down to the Paradise of Mystery in Awaji, there was a lot of that stuff there. It was a very, very interesting place. This one looks pretty good though, and like I said, Mie is not very far away from me. In fact, it's the neighboring prefecture. So I went to Mie last year. Oh, this is interesting. It's like a North Korean school or something. Where's that? Nagano? It's kind of far away. Let's see if we can. Oh, this one's in Gifu. That's an abandoned school. This is the tunnel. This is another cursed tunnel that's very famous, actually. It's in Gifu as well. Might have to check this one out. I do really like Gifu. Gifu is such a cool little place. Actually, I think, yeah, I want to say that like Chris Broad and Sea Dog VA went to this tunnel, like when they were doing the biking across Japan or whatever. Because I remember them doing this, and there was like that Chills guy. You know, he makes the videos like number 16 They went to the spooky tunnel in Japan and they found a ghost. I think that's the tunnel they went to, because you can still go through this one, but it's like an abandoned road basically. I think like oh, they drove through it. They drove there. I thought they biked through it. I don't remember. But that's a pretty cool one. Like there's a lot of these abandoned sort of things that like they just get fall out of use when the highways get built. So, oh, that one's cool too. It's like an old coal mine. I don't know about going in this one. This is like some bear shit. You'd definitely find like a bear there. There was something that I forgot to talk about it yesterday. So yesterday we were having a lot of fun talking about the steel toe stuff. And I forgot to show two things. One was the rocket launchers that people were using against bears. And also that iDubbbz was getting texts from Anissa to tell him that he needs to pee. So I guess next time I talk about iDubbbz, I'll include that as well. But it's very funny. It's another win for the toe. I don't know about that. Looks like this one is pretty tricky to get to. But you'd be shocked at how many of these little roads that just seem to go nowhere. Like when I was driving around the Noto Peninsula, and there's like I actually have that as a members only video on my channel, the Tiny Car Adventure. That was really fun because it was just like this one lane road through the mountains, and there was nobody. I didn't see anyone for hours. I was just driving around this like crazy little area at the top of the Noto Peninsula, which is very nice. Anyway, so I'm thinking about that. If you guys would like to see that, maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll even bring Max along to the Haunted Village. Driving, yes, indeed, driving. But I think that like, because I want to do like another documentary about something, and I feel like searching for Japan, like this hidden town, like I guess it doesn't exist, but you know, going through the mountains, searching for it, and then visiting this tunnel and telling the story, I think it'd be a really cool Halloween project. And I am looking to do a road trip very soon, because I want to enjoy the autumn colors. I want to drive around, and I want to get some use out of this drone since I've only flown it once so far. Come to Sapporo, dude. I'm coming to Sapporo in a very soon for a job. I'll be going to well, I guess all the sites. If you're in Sapporo right now, how's the weather looking? Because it's I was hoping there'd be some autumn colors, but I think it's pretty early in the season, right? But I'll probably be too busy. I'm only going to be there for a couple of days. You'll DM me? Yeah, go ahead. Like I said, I'll be working, so I might not have time to meet up or anything. But you know, if there's time, you never know. But be very keen to see what the foliage looks like. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. I think we've had enough time. So where were we? There's a lot of articles about this. Tyler Robinson playing Furry Shades of G. Porn online games, and some of them are oh, I gotta close that. I actually searched for it to see if I could find anything for the thumbnail, and if you search for that, you're gonna get some pretty bad results. Also, kind of weird that I have this like autoplay video of an elephant being charged. Some of these are really funny, but there was a Turkey Tom documentary as well, so I thought we might watch that because I didn't have too much time to prepare a stream today. Pretty busy. Some of these are really funny, like I think this one, I was like looking, it's like pornography is a hallucinogen. It reframes human sexuality in unreal ways. Characters in pornographic content portray sex the way Harry Potter portrays magic, as something that can happen for anyone at any time, to any degree imaginable. I don't know about that one. This one seems like it has like their own little slant. Like maybe this is like a Christian wisdom online age. Yeah, there you go. But we'll take a look at this one. We'll take a look at this one, and then we'll check out the Turkey Tom one, because I want to see new details have been coming out. All right, let me say, boink. Yeah, that's. Hey, look, it's not true. The only game I've been playing recently is Hollow Knight, and I played a little bit of the Isle to test out the new video settings, because hopefully I can do one more stream before the end of the week. All right. Alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson played Furry Shades of G, porn video game online. I got a poll going in the chat, so let me see. Should we remove porn games from existence? And so far, the puritanical Scandinavian prudes are winning. They say, no, get rid of the smut. I'm trying to think, like, the only, like, I guess you could call it a porn game that I've ever played was Honey Pop, which is very fun, actually. Honey Pop is... it's got really funny humor, and it's a basic match 3 game, but it's actually fantastic. And who's that name? Belly or something? That she was the best girl. There's some really crazy unlockable characters as well in that game. It was really sad to see how Honey Pop 2 is so bad in comparison. But how is it alleged? That's a good question. It's because he's not yet convicted. Now, some people in the chat have been saying that it's all an op and that he's a patsy. I don't know about that. But I'm willing to entertain your conspiracy theories about it not being this guy, but you're going to have to put up a very reasonable alternative, motive, and suspect. I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that this is the guy that did it because he admitted to it. It was his gun. He was seen at the scene of the crime. Like, who else could it be? Honey Pop was awesome. Yes, it was. Accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson played pornographic furry games online and followed artists known to draw cartoons depicting pedophilia, according to a shocker. Was it Shadman? Don't tell me it's fucking Shadman again. Friends of the 22-year-old suspect told Daily Mail that Robinson, who alleged left a sex-related gaming message on a bullet used on the casing that killed Charlie Kirk, used the account name Crafting247. Is this Minecraft-related violence? Is that what I'm getting from this? On multiple gaming and online platforms, were engaged in the fringe furry subculture. I think collectively you can say in the chat, yiff and hell. A Steam account with that name shows he downloaded and played a dating simulator called Furry Shades of G, which described itself as a game of love, queer relationships, hot gay sex, and slapstick humor, the Mail reported. There you can see him in his anti-suicide vest. According to a report, accused Charlie Kirk assassin played the furry games. My mouse is getting squeaky again. Robinson, who is dating his transgender roommate, played the game enough that he earned a prize, an anthropomorphic cat character who dresses as a French maid. Degenerate! He's gay! He's a furry! According to the outlet. No wonder his dad gave him up. Like, when I first saw this, I was like, why would you give your son up to the police, especially in a state that has the death penalty? And now we know what games he's playing. Like, I kind of side with the father on this one. But the question remains, do these sort of things happen in isolation? Was he radicalized by, the woke left or whatever people are saying? Or was it something in his family life? I like to think that these things don't just come out of nowhere. Because, nobody wants to think that, like, well, you can do everything right and then still get, like, a bad answer like this. But I would assume that there was something in his family life that also was responsible for this, not just that he went to university and was, I don't know, in too many Discord groups. An account on the website furaffinity.net, which features sexualized images of cartoons and animal characters, also featured an account name matching that of Robinson, the report claimed. Now, okay, there's nothing bad here. I mean, this is bad, but it's not, like, pornographic bad. Just last week, Crafting247's account on the site said he had recently watched content created by a user called Red Rusker, a user known for furry porn who has admitted to drawing images showing underage characters engaging in relations. They can't just help themselves, can they? There's always, if they can't just be regular furries, it's always furry plus something, like the diaper furs or the paraplegic furs or whatever. Let me see. Red Rusker confirmed on Furry Infinity on May 23rd, on May 2023, that he had made that art that depicted underage characters, saying there is about a dozen or so pieces in total. Oh my goodness. He said he felt guilty as fuck about such images and that he won't draw it again. Well, at least something good came from this. But I think it's too late. He needs to be thrown in the chipper. He continues to post cartoon porn with younger looking characters, the Mail reported. Oh, it's just the 3,000-year-old wolf vampires. Robinson also appeared to be friends with another artist known as Obua, or maybe it's Obure, who created furry content as well as images of incredibly obese women getting fed. No, not the furry feeders. See, it's always something. It can't just be furry people in missionary for the sole purpose of procreation. It has to be like gay furry or diaper furry or feeding furry or vor furry. You know what I mean? Dear Feeder is, yes, getting aroused indeed. Robinson left a comment on Obua's Steam profile on January 2024, writing, "He beats me when mum goes on her work trips," with punctuation resembling a crying emoji. Oh my goodness. So he's engaging in a woo gay play. Robinson, who was in a relationship with his transgender roommate, is charged with fatally shooting Kirk, 31, who was the conservative activist who was speaking in front of thousands of spectators in the Utah Valley University on September 10th. The spent cartridge believed to have come from the rifle Robinson used was inscribed with the message, "Notice his bulge, uwu, what's this?" Uwu is an obscure emoticon. It's not that obscure, to be honest. From gaming culture, and is meant to resemble the wide cat face. There you go. I don't know. I think everyone has sort of heard an uwu before. It's pretty mainstream at this point. I was going to go through these other ones, but they're kind of like they're kind of funny. They're kind of funny how they go through things, like how they say about them. But we might just jump into the old Turkey Tom one. The other messages was "Hey fascist catch," up, left, down, 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 which was calling it a bomb for, I guess, Helldivers. There was also one of the casings read, "Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao." And, recently Hassan has been singing that on stream as a bit of a nod to this guy. So you can see where he stands and what he's after. He literally began his stream just singing Bella Ciao, which I had never heard until Sean illuminated me on the details of this fascist song. Well, I guess it's an Antifa song, but you know what I mean. The anti-fascists, the real fascists, but they call themselves the anti-bad guy squad. How do they get away with it? All right, let's take a look at this video by Turkey Tom and see if it's any good.
On the morning of September 10th, 2025, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson decided he wouldn't be attending his electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. At 8:23,
that's kind of funny because he's probably going to be attending an electric workshop when they execute him.
He walked to his gray Dodge Challenger, and a little while later, he drove off to Utah Valley University. 3 hours after that, at 11:49, he exited his car wearing a different set of clothes, a cap, dark sunglasses,
You can see if you actually take it,
and visibly limping toward the parking lot adjacent.
That's what I was going to point out. You can see how it looks like he's limping. That's because he's hiding the rifle. Of course, this isn't a new detail, but it is very interesting to see in the context.
Sunglasses and visibly limping toward the parking lot adjacent to the UVU
campus. Hit the like on the video.
He walked up the parking lot stairs, headed to the Low C Center, and then was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, conservative speaker Charlie Kirk was hosting one of his debate events on campus. Roughly 200.
Now, the guy that was actually talking to Charlie Kirk at the time, who was asking the question about trans shooters, which is, it seems to be a divine piece of irony that was the question, has actually made his statements on the entire situation. And it seems like he's actually converted. He no longer is part of the left, and he wants to be like he wants to join more conservative movements after these events. It's completely shooken him to his core. Of course, it would be if you were like talking to him just that second. I don't know how you couldn't be changed by such an event.
Yards away from where Tyler was. At exactly 12:23, a single shot rang out, piercing the left side of Kirk's throat, sending the entire campus into chaos. Although he was quickly rescued and rushed to the hospital, he only lasted for about an hour when his passing was officially confirmed.
I mean, realistically, he was probably dead in minutes, and it looked like from the blood he was probably, well, it probably was very quick and painless, honestly. The lasting an hour thing is kind of just, well, that's until they announce him dead.
Add to the already extremely tragic situation, CCTV footage showed Tyler, then unknown to the authorities, fleeing the scene and successfully evading capture, seemingly holding on to a bag.
Now, Sean actually points out in his streams it was very interesting how amateur this move would be to jump off the top of the building like this. Because if you were an operator or like, some sort of special assassin government programmed MK Ultra activating whatever, you wouldn't want to do this, because if you jump down and like you twist your ankle or break your leg or something, then you're not going to be able to escape. It seemed like there were a lot of better places to get off the roof from. At least that was my opinion on this. But it seems like he was doing this side specifically because he was trying to get back to his car as quickly as possible,
with his weapon in it. Part of why he was able to escape were two people who drew attention to themselves immediately after the attack took place.
And this is what was really confusing. There was like this old guy, and he actually had CP on him at the same time, I believe. But it was really, really confusing because there was two guys that they apprehended, and one of them literally had like I guess people were saying it was an air rifle or pellet gun or something with a silencer on the top of it, but it looked like they had caught a guy almost immediately. And then there was this guy who was just like going there being a dick. And if you're actually gonna, if like someone gets shot and you like volunteer yourself as the shooter just to throw a stick in the wrench of the government, I feel like it should be fair game to give him the same penalty as the real shooter. Like if you're gonna waste people's resources and mess with people's emotions, and very likely could have enabled this guy to get away. because of the action of this old cunt. I feel like he should get the same penalty, right? Why not? Or at least certainly public lashings or something. Now, this guy probably deserves to be in the wood chipper anyway for the images that he had on his phone at the time. But I think if it wasn't for the family turning in Tyler Robinson, then he may have, I mean, we'll get away with it. It's like a strong thing since they found the weapon and it would have had his DNA on it, as well as probably fingerprints because he was an amateur. But like, this guy could have very well created the window that would have allowed this guy to get away forever.
The first is George Zinn, who falsely confessed to the shooting and was promptly detained and was recorded being escorted by the police with his pants down. As he
Why was his pants down? So not only does this guy, I mean, if this isn't the guy that they found CP on, then I apologize. But I think it is. So you're found with CP at a college with these images. What the fuck was he doing?
repeatedly asked them to shoot him.
We don't know if it's him or not.
As it turns out, George Zinn is a man with a lifelong career of being a deranged nuisance orbiting political events. There are pictures of him accosting the former Utah House Speaker Greg Hughes, as well as former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. But more importantly, George is on record claiming to have personally witnessed 9/11 and instantly knowing that Al-Qaeda was behind it. Given Zinn's
I mean, was there even a moment, like a day of doubt about who did 9/11? I mean, I say that, and there's probably people in the chat that are going to still tell me that it isn't. It isn't the case. I literally had someone argue with me a couple days ago on Twitter about jet fuel melting steel beams. I'm not even joking about it. Not even joking. And I told him, well, yeah, it doesn't melt steel beams, but it makes them soft and pliable. It's like room temperature butter versus fridge butter. You know, temperature makes a difference, even if it doesn't melt.
Profile, this was most likely a tall tale, a false account to get attention. Something similar happened in 2013, when shortly after the Boston Marathon bombing, he emailed the Salt Lake City Marathon organizers and offered to help place bombs, which got him arrested for the threats. Other things noted in his legal records are commitments to mental hospitals, being arrested for theft of services, failure to disclose his identity, jaywalking, and other stuff like that. Due to the extremely controversial nature of this entire thing, George Zinn ended up being massively misreported as being Jewish, a narrative that found its way even to former NFL star Antonio Brown. However, George is actually a mentally ill man of Greek descent, with a Mormon religious background and a history of pulling this kind of stunt. Just a little while after...
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Danny Arn knows Zinn from her political campaign. Is that true? Because yeah, she was running for, was it district attorney for Utah? Was it was it district attorney or was it Congress or something? I can't remember exactly. Like, did she actually encounter this weirdo? That is a very funny little development. Huh. I hope she's doing well. I haven't seen her in a while, but she's recently a mother, so congratulations for her. DA of Salt Lake City? Yeah. That's what I thought it was, DA. Didn't she come really close too? Like, pretty good for like a first attempt at going against an incumbent, right?
After he was detained, they noticed that he had no weapon on him, and there was no weapon discarded in the area he was in, meaning he couldn't have committed the crime. This doesn't mean he was innocent though, as when the police brought him in for processing, he had a medical issue that led to him being taken to a local hospital. There, he admitted that he did what he did to purposely hinder law enforcement from getting the real guy. And
like, if you admit this, shouldn't there be some fairly strict, I mean, obstruction of justice for one, but like, I feel like we can bring out the cruel and unusual punishments. Like, apparently the American Constitution says no cruel and unusual punishment. Why not? Why not? Why can't we put him inside the brazen bull? Wouldn't you watch it?
when asked by cops for his phone, he volunteered, but not before informing the police that he had illegal material involving children on it. As if
maybe the brazen bull is too good for him, actually.
That weren't enough, he then specified to the cops that he was in possession of the material for his own gratification and had a preference for girls from ages 5 through 12. Given this guy already has...
See, I bet before this piece of information came out, there was people on chat saying, "Oh my goodness, the brazen bull, cruel and unusual punishment. That's too ridiculous. Like, come on, let's have some common sense here. Let's be nice for a moment. Let's let the cool heads prevail, right?" And then now this has happened, and I bet now you're on my side. I bet now you think the brazen bull is too good for him.
Dozens of previous cases. I hope he stays locked up for good. Another person of interest that immediately emerged following the attack was a man named David, who was
Yeah, this was the guy that was like, he jumped up and started celebrating, or like he was like, "Woo!" He was shot, and then he like tried to cope and say that it's like, "Oh well, I was just I was caught up in the moment" or something. Like, I feel like this guy could get away with a public lashings. That'd be fine. Like, nothing too serious. He was a cunt. He was doing something bad, but I mean, at least he didn't have CP allegedly. So yeah, this guy could get away with like 10 lashings, I think.
recorded cheering and chanting USA immediately following the shot. While this man's full name is harder to find than George Zinn's, he actually took to Twitter to identify himself as the one chanting.
So he said, "Losing Charlie Kirk is heavy and we're still in mourning. Trust me, I'll be explaining myself very soon. But every lie about me brings me one step closer to becoming very dead at the hands of the mob. Should I die for hate or entertainment? Maybe. Truth will satisfy neither appetite. I'm a father and I feel the weight of Charlie's loss to his family. I stand for my fallen brothers. We are all unequal in risk at this moment. If I address my actions, it will be after some time. I didn't wish to have my face everywhere." Well, then you shouldn't have jumped up and down and said, "Woo woo, look at me." "I'm terrified for my family and sad for Charlie's too. I cannot bear both. Please pray for Charlie's family."
To explain that he did it to draw attention so the security team could escape.
Do you believe this? Do you believe this for even a second? Press 1 if you believe this story. 2 if he's a liar. I think he's a liar. Come on now. I saw the video. He's jumping up and saying, he was like, "Woo, Charlie Kirk just got shot. Wow, America, USA." Sounds like some bullshit to me. I guess he just underestimated the internet. Like, I don't doubt that he had adrenaline running through his veins and people make bad decisions in those sort of situations. But you should never underestimate the internet. They can find basically everything out, especially in America, where it's so easy to find information on people.
Face value, this is extremely suspicious, and although it's unsure if this was the second person whom law enforcement detained, it would make sense given he gave them a good reason to believe he was at least involved with whoever committed the assassination.
No, it wasn't this guy. There was another guy that had like he had like the pellet gun with a silencer. It was on the dashboard of his car and he was driving, and I believe he got pulled over and detained. Because that's what I remember when I thought they had caught the guy. And very quickly those posts were deleted though.
However, a brief examination of his social media account makes it clear as day that this man too is clearly suffering from some intense delusion. In videos he posted, he suggests that Charlie Kirk was a soldier of his and speaks from the perspective of every major religion, which you don't need to be a mental health specialist to recognize as a telltale sign of schizophrenia. Despite George and David clearly committing obstruction of justice.
This is kind of a random reference, but one of my favorite moments from The Mummy, which is a fantastic film, is when, is it Benny? Benny's like the sidekick character that betrays the main characters and starts working for Imhotep. Like, just as the mummy's coming to kill Benny, he's like going through every religion. He's got like a little cross. He's got like the Star of David. He's going through and saying every prayer because he's hedging his bets. And the only reason that Imhotep spares him is that because he speaks the language of the slaves. It's a very funny moment in that movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. The Mummy Returns is also fantastic, but it's a little bit poorly aged, I would say. But those two mummies are great. The third mummy, not so much.
There is no evidence indicating that they were in on what happened.
Yeah,
over the course of the next day, law enforcement swarmed the location and started piecing together the shooter's movements leading up to the assassination, and a series of strange things were discovered. While examining the vantage point and CCTV footage that showed his escape from the scene, they eventually found that the killer had dumped his weapon nearby, wrapped in a towel. The weapon, which is a Mauser model...
This is why you say never forget your towel. If he'd just taken it with him, he may have... I mean, again, it's very unlikely since they had the CCTV footage of him. That was so easy to identify him. In fact, was a critical part of that. The gun was just the icing on the cake. And again, this is what questions the people that say that this guy was not the shooter. Like, Tyler isn't the killer, this guy. How do you explain all of these details of him being there on the cameras? It's his family gun. He fled. He admitted it. Like, I don't think there's any real debate here. on this guy. I mean, it has to be him. Who else could it be?
98, 30-06 caliber bolt action rifle with a mounted scope was found along with its bullets. The casing, which was spent, had the words "Notices bulge, oh whoa, what's this?"
He says, "Oh, what? It's ooh woo." I mean, I know.
Engraved on it. If you're familiar with this kind of language, which I unfortunately am, this is a meme phrase usually associated with traps. Basically, the idea.
Come on now, Tom. Come on now, Tom. Turkey true, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
Of it being that the speaker is attracted to a person who looks like a woman, only to find out that they have a bulge, which the speaker is then interested in. And
so, like, this is very funny little image with the paw print tattoo. Back when I was in university, so a long time ago, I went to a. It was a party. It was I was basically the only friend of my group that went to university. But we had house parties and things like that for people that we were all friends with in high school, or not casually related to us, not related in family, but just like friend groups having house parties, pretty normal shit. And my brother's friends were there quite often, and one of his friends was this chick, and she was okay. She was okay. She had one day she had a tattoo though. One day she had, and this is the reason I mentioned this is back in my university days, is because it was so long ago, and at that time, furry culture was so niche that only 4chan edgelords really knew about it if you weren't inside actually a furry or something. It was back before it was mainstream. But she had a paw print on her palm her wrist right here. And the second I saw that, I was like, what is that? And she's like, well, my dog was very important to me. And I was like, I was like pressing exit out all those years ago. And then 10 years later, she comes out as a furry. I knew it. I fucking knew it. You just know. You just know, chat. A fairly nice person, though, I'll say.
the word OO being a classic emote associated with anime. The intended irony here is obvious, as Charlie Kirk is infamous for his opposition to transgenderism. So having this phrase...
Our communities are furry adjacent? I mean, some of them, depends. If they're playing Tauren, like female Tauren, that's when you have to be suspect of them.
Engraved on it immediately suggests a political motive. There were 3 more casings, all of which were unspent. The first one read, "Hey fascist, catch," followed by an up arrow, a right arrow, and 3 downward arrows, which is the stratagem code for the Eagle 500 kilogram bomb in Helldivers 2. Like the previous casing, this one also had a clear political message with an internet culture related element. The second unspent casing had a brief passage of the song Bella Ciao on it, an old Italian folk song closely tied to the anti-fascist movement. Again, clearly political in nature. Although, unlike the other ones, this one has no internet subculture aspect to it. Lastly,
this is, again, like I mentioned it earlier, but like that's literally the first time I've ever heard about this song. But Sean always knows. He has all the details. How did you learn so much? Did you just spend all day reading? I don't know. Something very... He's prepping all right, you know.
The third unspent casing read, "If you read this, you are gay."
Shit, they got us, chat. Oh, god damn it. They got us.
These casings alone
Don't read
strongly
it.
suggested that whoever the
good thing I can't read, actually. That's so I'm actually impervious to this attack.
shooter was, it was someone young, at least someone young enough to be familiar with these online phrases. Unfortunately, even with the prints being lifted from the weapon, they weren't able to identify a culprit. At least to the public's knowledge, these prints didn't immediately reveal the shooter's identity, although they would become useful whenever a person of interest was detained. For the next day or so, despite information slowly being made available to the public, it did...
I'm a furry, confirmed. This is not true, but I do have a funny furry story. It's not that funny, I guess. It's just like kind of interesting. Back again when I was in my university days, that was the same time that web comics were really popular. Do you remember this? Like, are you old enough to remember when web comics were really really big thing? Like, you'd be reading your Penny Arcade, your Control Alt Delete, your Fanboys, you know, there was all of these different web comics. And I was reading a particular webcomic that just happened to star all these animals, and I was actually into the story, but I didn't realize it was a furry webcomic at the time because again, this was like furries was such a niche thing at this time. So I was like, oh, okay, it's just animal slice of life style comic, and I was reading it for like a long time, and then like the sex scene started happening. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I see what's happening here. I literally didn't know. I didn't realize. I was just like, oh, okay, it's just an interesting artistic choice. And then I stopped reading it. That's when I stopped reading. I was into the story. Unironically, it was. It was kind of interesting. I mean, as far as web comics go, I'm trying to think of the web comics I actually used to read. I definitely read Penny Arcade. My friend was really into Control Alt Delete, but I never liked it, Buckley, because of the Buckley face and also because of the Lost comic. But he would even watch the Control Alt Delete TV series or the web series. They made like a cartoon of it. It was really shit though. Very, very shit. And I even wanted to start my own web comic. I was like planning. I was in the planning stages of doing it, but it was like so stupid. Fanboys was another good one. That was a really good one. I don't know what happened to that. I don't know what happened to that comic, but it was a very good one. That was kind of like your classic gamer webcomic where you've got like the two bros and the girl that lives in the house and everyone has their own console or whatever. Very kind of formulaic at that time. And then I used to read Mega Tokyo. That was kind of interesting, but it was like, it got real weird as well. And it became like a magical girl drama or something. And the guy was like really weird as well, the author or something, but he was pretty popular. Yeah, Lost.jpg. I think the funniest thing, Homestar Runner. Yeah, Homestar Runner. I mean, that's kind of like in the border of like webcomics / animations. You remember Mega Tokyo? Yeah, it was okay. XKCD. I read some XKCD. I never knew Homestuck, but I knew that Homestuck people were to be avoided. Mega Tokyo got lame when the original duo split up. It became very emo. Yeah, like I think I like faded out of that one. Like it stopped appealing to me. I also was reading a bunch of there was some like Warcraft related webcomics, and I was like hitting F5 on those. I used to have like my pages that were just F5 every day, like once a day to check if there's any updates. That was a fun time of the internet. Very fun. And the reason I was reading so many webcomics is that I was trying not to do any work, and it was the thing that I would do when I wasn't working. So I had some free time because I had my own office right out of the gate of high school, and which was a bad idea. I probably shouldn't have had my own office because I did slack off quite a bit because I knew no one was watching me. But I got my work done, so that's okay. But I worked just hard enough to get everything done. Then I did a lot of reading of webcomics and forums, actually. Oh, what a time to be alive.
Didn't seem like law enforcement were making significant progress in the case. Given how high profile an incident it was, and how much it had inflamed the United States as a whole, people were pretty worked up. And unsurprisingly, they launched their own investigations. Once again, things get a little tricky, but this time around, it's a bit more complicated. It's important to say that as far as any of us know, none of these people are responsible for, implicated in, or in any way related to the assassination. However, it is important to take everything into consideration, especially considering how ominously foreshadowing some of the posts I'm about to talk about are. The first of these is a set of tweets by someone named Omar, with multiple Twitter handles.
So many red flags in this bio. How many can you count, chat? How many red flags can you count? I'll tell you the ones that I spot. First of all, they signed up 5 years ago. They've got less than 100 or less than 200 followers. That's embarrassing. Second of all, they're following more people than they have followers. That's cringe. They, them in the pronouns in bios. That's a big one. Non-binary goat of all time. Pretty cringe. 17. Should we just ban all minors from the internet? Would that just solve everything? Like, should you just have to be 18 to be on the internet? Also Mexican. Locked account. Cringe.
The tweets from the 9th of September read, "Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. Let's just say something big will happen tomorrow." After the shooting happened, this person came back to Twitter to say, "Charlie Kirk got shot. Bro, I promise I didn't have anything to do with it. But I called it, and it's so deserved." Eventually, this person took down their own Twitter account, and someone completely unrelated took the other handle to prevent it from being taken and used by scammers. So
Username taken off the original owner changed their handle to prevent it being taken in by scammers. My condolences. United Kingdom.
Unrelated took the other handle to prevent it from being taken.
I want digital ID. No, I don't want digital ID. Realistically, there's no way to keep minors off the internet. But at least just say that if we find them, that they can go away, have their accounts banned.
Taken and used by scammers. Side note, this only
Max
kind of
took
worked
it, yeah.
because if you look up the handle on Twitter now, the first result is a fake account promoting a crypto scam in the name of Charlie.
That is kind of ironic, and Twitter's search algorithm is dog shit. Absolute dog shit. Like, I always search for people's handles and I can't find them. So you have to like find their actual, like their secondary name or whatever it is. It's very frustrating.
Disgusting stuff. As people saw this tweet and had a revelation of someone who accurately called that this would happen, someone looked up that handle on Google.
Goodbye, horses. I'm crying after you. Oh, whoa, buddy.
Found the first picture of a person and then spread the claim that this person was Omar or...
I mean, this probably isn't them, right? But like...
Najra Galv's, their Twitter handle. The thing is, if you look up someone's Twitter handle online and go on the images tab, you may get the images of any account that may be associated with theirs for whatever reason. They could have replied to each other years ago and it pops up. In this case, the person in the image is an account named Michaela Ultra from Seattle, who's a...
All right, let's count the problems with this one, shall we? All right. First of all, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Music producer, that's 8. Play Shadow Priest on WoW, that's yeah, that's a big one right there. That's 10. Living in Seattle, that's 11. What does MDNI mean? Sponsored by Dr. Pepper? I don't believe that's true.
Account is now protected. The thing is, decoupling these two accounts was not enough for a lot of people, who promptly went through their tweets and found a reply from Michaela Ultra to a limited account that expressed they weren't fans of Charlie Kirk. Additionally, 2 other tweets were screenshotted, which read, "I'm crashing out. Coming apart at the seams. You're watching it live in real time. Keep your eyes peeled on the news." When someone replied to them suggesting they would be the next trans shooter, Michaela Ultra replied by saying, "Finally, someone who is smart enough to read between the lines and figure out what all my Dr. Pepper posting is about." Now,
should they be detained just as a precaution? Perhaps that is the case.
as ominous as all of that sounds, especially since these tweets were made just a day prior to the assassination, and Michaela bearing some resemblance to AI-enhanced CCTV images of the assassin.
This AI-enhanced thing was so stupid. People are just like, "Hey, Grok, can you make this image look better?" And then it just like makes this kid look like a fucking adult. I'm like, well, it's just like the CI enhance, isn't it? No, it isn't. Stop it. Just stop. You can't enhance things. Okay. If the pixels aren't there, the pixels aren't there. Everything else is just pinching and zooming, okay? It's not going to work. Let's just stop it. Now, the drone that I have, it's actually pretty crazy how far you can pinch and zoom on that. Like 28 times zoom. But that was just, again, I'm just shilling for the thing. I'm just happy I bought it. I'm very proud of the purchase.
Explanation to these tweets lies in the mention of Dr. Pepper. None of the tweets made on the day prior to the attack had anything to do with Charlie Kirk, conservatism, and it clearly wasn't serious, as they were all related to DMs.
Wait, what is this? Every tweet in this account is endorsed by and can be considered the express opinion of Dr. Pepper Corporation. They get a DM from Dr. Pepper. "Hello there, fellow Pepperhead. Our legal team is not super excited about this tweet. The opinions in your account are not representative of the Dr. Pepper brand of products, and we kindly ask that you take down the post immediately." Oh my goodness. We got any Pepperheads in the chat? Who am I speaking with? I will negotiate with Dr. Pepper and only Dr. Pepper. I mean, that's funny. I mean, that is a bit funny. "Hey there, Dr. Pepper is not a real individual and thus would not be available to speak with you." That's so stupid. "I would be happy to connect you with the head of House Counsel, John Barb." No, I want to see the I mean, this is kind of a base response, I have to say. Like, give me Dr. Pepper now. It's like if you like, you're like saying that you're like, it's like calling KFC and asking to talk to the Colonel. It's very funny. "Get Dr. Pepper on the phone right now." It's like, what is his degree in? Mathematics. Fuck.
exchanged with the Dr. Pepper Twitter account, demanding to talk to the real Dr. Pepper. On Instagram, they made a post saying, I am suspended from Twitter, so I can't post proof of life there, but I would like to confirm that I am not the Charlie Kirk shooter. As far as
I mean, with a name like M. Kayla Ultra, I feel like this is a pretty safe bet you can lock this person up straight away, even if they are very funny.
I could tell, M. Kayla,
This is how you know they're not a woman, by the way, is that they are funny.
Or Michaela Ultra never hinted at doing anything to Charlie Kirk, nor condoned what happened on the 10th. As far as who was really behind the Omar Twitter account, one person was found. First name Omar, last name Najera, like the Twitter handle, who also identified specifically as non-binary, just like the Twitter account. However, this person hasn't spoken out as of yet, and again, there is no specific evidence tying them to the crime. There was someone else, however, with much more incriminating material on their socials. Much like what happened to Michaela, as people ravenously dug through online posts to find evidence of someone connected to that Omar account who had hinted at what would happen to Kirk, they found a certain Sky Valadez.
Should we count the red flags on this one as well, chat? Is this like a Fallout, like bobblehead thing as well in the back here?
Sky was a member of a band called God's Finest Scalpel, or simply God's Finest, which was featured on a post of account Click Click Boom. Here, they're
I don't think we're good enough red flags. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think there's not enough flags in the fucking world.
Tagged as straight death, and if that name wasn't suggestive.
Also, I hate this double exposure photography. It doesn't look good. Double exposure photography's, I guess it's a choice, like it's a taste thing. I don't like it. I think it's cringe, even when people do it with birds to show motion. The only time I'll accept double exposure photography is when you're pretending to take pictures of ghosts.
Enough of some kind of terrorism, God's Finest had a song titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31, which was up on its SoundCloud long before the attack happened, and a similar song called Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me on Bandcamp.
Imagine being this mind broken that you actually name other people in your music. How cringe is that? One thing that I like, I don't know, this is like I guess a personal preference as well, but like when I'm reading a book, or when I was thinking about writing some stuff, I would never include anything that's like a real reference to a product. Like if you're reading my stuff, you would never see someone drinking a can of Coke. They would just be drinking a cup of coffee or something. Now, some people say that it's good to include these sort of things because it adds an element of realism. But like if I'm reading like The Stand or something and they find a bottle of Dr. Pepper in the fridge, I don't like it. I'm like, because I think it like dates it. It gives it like a timed quality, and I feel like any really good story should have this timelessness to it, that including current year or like product placement as it's just like a real life, there's actual products like Cheetos. I don't like it personally, but I mean again, that's kind of maybe just my own Dr. Tepper is timeless. Okay, I guess you got me there. You wouldn't write about Ronald Plump? No, I would not. I think that's pretty cringe.
From an album titled Death to American Scum. While that is all pretty on the nose, it could just be excessively edgy trans activism. When people took to the comments of the Dead at 31 song on SoundCloud, Sky replied, I'm not a student at any college. I don't support political violence. This song was a massive coincidence, and I'm leaving it at that.
I think it might be a bad idea, though, to like name a person, use their actual age, and then think that's going to be a real fire song title. You're obviously like obsessed with them.
I will not take this down, as I believe in my First Amendment rights, and I believe that if you think this is disgusting, you're worried about
Do I have any fanfics on OA? What's OA3? I don't know what this is.
Wrong thing. This response could have laid the issue to bed, but the people looking into this stuff weren't just looking for potential culprits, but also anyone who knew about the real shooter's plans and didn't report it or try to prevent it in any way. Despite being seemingly completely exonerated, Sky also took to Instagram. I am not the shooter nor a current alumni at UVU. I had a dream back in...
Should we trust an image? Like if they can't even use proper punctuation, should we trust this? I don't know about that. You're going to capitalize Utah University, but not I am? Come on now.
March of this year when I recorded and debuted this song on SoundCloud. It's complicated and cheesy, but I did foresee the death of Charlie Kirk this year. However, not at a conference and not by the hand of a gun. I've never been a fan of Charlie Kirk, mostly because I live under the LGBTQ plus umbrella and disagree with everything he says. Then again, I hate all politicians and politics because it's such a wildfire of a situation already. I do not support the shooting in any way, but I am relieved that a Nazi sympathizer is no longer wasting my oxygen.
I don't want to be political. I don't like politics. I don't want to be political, but I am glad this Nazi. Like, come on now, stop dancing. Stop sitting on the fucking fence. This song wasn't political. This song wasn't political. Charlie Kirk dead at age 31. But I am glad that Nazis. Like, fuck off. Just be honest. Just be honest, and say that you only care about one brand of politics and you want everyone else to be dead.
Unsurprisingly, that second half did very little to quell suspicions about potential foreknowledge, so people kept digging, and eventually they found a second Instagram account that belongs to Sky called letters_2_bishop. This account had a post with a picture of another band, presumably also in Utah, where one of the members bore a striking resemblance to the aforementioned Omar Najera. This led some people to speculate that they were bandmates, but as per God's Finest bio before Charlie Kirk's death, it was a band of one. There was one last person who was similarly picked up by Twitter as potentially having foreknowledge because just a day prior to the incident, they had said September 10th will be a very interesting day. While this
I mean, there's so many people like this that just make random predictions that eventually somebody gets those right. It's kind of like an actual strategy that some people employ as well. They just like post out like 1,000 things saying something will happen on this day, this day, this day, this day. And then you just delete the ones that don't hit, nothing hits on. Very easy way of not cold reading. It's kind of like cold reading. Big Deadland says, send a buy me a coffee message as well. Well, let's take, can we crucify Kirk's murder on Rocata's sex cross? I mean, I suppose. I think that he has to be burned at the stake though, right? So it can't be crucifixion because furries need to be burnt at the stake. But thank you for the coffee. Much appreciated.
This tweet got tens of millions of views. They continued to be active on Twitter and showed proof that they...
Yes. September 18th will be... Yeah, they just do this. This is like the thing they keep doing. Yeah.
They very frequently made this kind of tweet. So sooner or later, this kind of coincidence would happen by sheer volume. Now, we are going to revisit the topic of people potentially having foreknowledge of the assassination, but at this point, as it stood, it was confirmed that none of these people were the killer, begging the question, who was actually behind the assassination? A whole day and a half after the shooting, on the evening of the 11th, the pictures of the killer in a cap and dark glasses were released. One of Tyler's friends, who was in the same Discord server with about 18 other people, sent the picture to their chat, jokingly remarking that it looked...
How many Boss coffees does $2 buy? Maybe one? I have a Boss coffee in my fridge right now, actually. I'm going to try and wake up at 7 a.m. tomorrow, which is going to be my personal challenge. Because I got to get a lot of work done before 3 o'clock, which is when I have to go meet my accountant again. He was very adamant we have our second dinner date. He's taking me to the old-fashioned mum-style cooking, so maybe we'll get an update on his girlfriend search, which is, if you're unaware of the deepest law, my accountant likes to have dinners because he wants to charge them to the company account, I suppose. And it's been several months since we first had one, so he demanded another one. He's like, we've got to have another one because he... Anyway, so I'm meeting him tomorrow. And he's going to take me to like a Japanese obasan / mama style cooking. So it's probably going to be very tasty, actually. But if I don't stream tomorrow, it's because he drugged me, I suppose.
Looked like Tyler and asking him where he was at. Tyler responded saying that his doppelganger did it,
account.
To which someone else sarcastically replied, Tyler killed Charlie. Clearly, the mere concept of Tyler doing such a thing was something his acquaintances wouldn't even consider. He was a seemingly intelligent guy, as his mother proudly bragged on Facebook about his 4.0 GPA.
Let me see. Had back to school date number 2 with this man-child of mine. You can't be calling your own son a man-child. Like, I think she doesn't mean it like that, but that's kind of a whoa buddy moment. With this man-child of mine and didn't get a single picture. This was a rough one since he's in his senior year. We met with his guidance counselor and started talking colleges. This boy's a genius. I'm hoping he'll pick Utah College and stay close to his mama. I mean, he killed he killed the ACT and has a 4.0, so his options are endless. Hashtag proud mama. Hashtag smarty pants. Like, I can't feel bad. Like mums do this stuff. They think it's like a cute or something, and sometimes they try and embarrass you on purpose. I feel like my mum would do this as well, but like it looks so bad in retrospect. You know what I mean? It's kind of endearing though. Like she's just trying to do her best, but like this is like you look at this man's face and you can just hear the "Mom, you're embarrassing me." But I mean, it's pretty hard to embarrass him since he's a gay furry as well. But
He was a mild-mannered indoorsman who gamed a lot, and although he wasn't a Republican like the rest of his family, he also wasn't even registered to vote and didn't express his opinions that much.
I thought he was a registered Republican. I thought that's what people were saying. It doesn't mean anything. Like registering to be a Republican seems to be the silliest thing ever, really, because a lot of people just register as Republicans so they can vote for the other person and try and fuck up the primaries.
Because of this, the rest of his server continued to joke about turning him in to collect the $100,000 bounty on the killer, which was eventually raised to $1.2 million, or they made recommendations that Tyler not go to a McDonald's anytime soon, referencing the notorious case of Luigi Mangione, who was caught on CCTV when he stopped to get something to eat.
But I mean, if that means the Discord knew who they were, like they were just okay with it then?
Tyler even contributed some jokes about himself, saying he should get rid of this manifesto and exact copy rifle I have lying around. Over a few messages, he said, "I heard the ammo had something about trans stuff on it, but they aren't releasing photos or exact quotes. And also, the claim wasn't backed by the official FBI, just some dude in the briefing room. I am actually Charlie Kirk. Wanted to get out of politics, so I faked my death. Now I can live out my dream life in Kansas." Now, there is some justified debate as to whether the other people in this Discord knew the full extent of Tyler's intents and...
Do you think they were in on it? Because, like, for the conspiracy theorists that say that it wasn't Tyler, you're going to have a big uphill battle to say that it's not him. But for the conspiracy theorists that say that his messages were staged so that he could take away blame from his roommate and from anyone else, I could see that. Like, that's more reasonable in my opinion. It seems like these guys knew a little bit more than they were leading on, but if it is Discord, they probably have already subpoenaed Discord and got all of the chat records anyway, including anything that's been deleted. So I think if there's any accomplices, they would have been arrested at this point.
Actions before, during, or after the murder of Charlie Kirk. Partly, it's because these messages were provided voluntarily by one of Tyler's friends, meaning they could have either been tailored by this friend in such a way to exclude anything that would incriminate any other members of the server, or it could mean that due to this friend's forthcoming cooperation with law enforcement, he was given a degree of privilege or protection. While it's highly likely that at least one member of this Discord was aware of Tyler's crimes, it's also likely that multiple, if not the majority of the members had no idea. And some of them even expressed grief over the assassination, remarking that Charlie didn't deserve it. Regardless, Tyler definitely seemed intent on keeping people under the impression that he was innocent, and this included his family. For nearly 2 whole days, he kept his family in the dark, and he probably would have strung them along for longer if he could. But
the funniest thing about all this, in its own sad way, is like the dad just knew, and he's just like, okay, show me the gun. Where's granddad's gun? If you're innocent, just show it. And then he's like, well, shit. And that's when he knew he was gone. Yeah, it's a farewell to arms for sure.
But on the evening of the 11th, Tyler's father, Matt, saw the pictures of the killer on the news. To his unimaginable shock, he saw his son being reported about on national television for having murdered Charlie Kirk. Despite his utter shock and disbelief, Matt went to his son and simply asked him, "Tyler, is this you? This looks like you." Tyler immediately confessed, but when urged to...
Do you think his dad was based in turning him in? Like, this is something that I really would struggle with. Like, I mean, obviously now that we know he's a gay furry addict or whatever, absolutely would have turned him in. But like, hypothetically, if you're in this situation, I pray that it never happens to anyone. But like, turning in your own blood to the government, that's a hard one, right? Like, it doesn't mean that I think they should get away with it, but especially in a state that with a death penalty. I think realistically, that's something I would really have to wrestle with. I'm not sure what I would do. Dad is probably concerned for the safety of his other kids, or potentially, yeah. I don't know. It feels like, I don't know, blood is thicker than water, sort of thing. But I mean, ultimately, he might be watching his son go in front of a firing squad because of this decision. And son, I am disappointed. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Turn himself in, he responded, "I would rather take my own life than
There's
turn
really
myself
there's
in."
really no
Matt
option,
promptly
honestly.
contacted
It's not like
their
you can
local
escape.
Mormon bishop, Scott Messinger, and asked him what he should do, who said that despite the risk of Tyler ending up getting the death penalty, they had to turn him in, which his father did, while also refusing to accept the reward money from the FBI, knowing that
All right. Would you accept the reward money? 1 for yes, 2 for no? Because like you can put it to some good use. It's just like, just gonna let it go in the air. I mean, is it blood money? I suppose, but like you could buy a better son with $100,000, right?
his fate had been sealed, Tyler felt the urge to come clean to his friends on Discord. "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU."
You could, you could donate it to Charlie Cox's family, for example. There you go.
Yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff in a few moments. Thank you for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. There was no immediate response, and only much later, one of the members sent a message asking that the others pray for Tyler. At 11 p.m. that day, the cops came and arrested him, though what was supposed to give the public some relief ended up just raising even more questions. However controversial this was initially, establishing Tyler's motive was the easiest part. The casing clearly antagonized Kirk as a fascist. His family remarked that he had recently expressed that Charlie Kirk was full of hate, and his growing left-wing sentiment coincided with his distancing from his family's Mormon religious practices.
It's such an ironic thing to say like that. Oh, Charlie Kirk was so full of hate, so I shot him. Yes, he was like, what do you mean? Like, did Charlie Kirk actually say anything really radical? Like, I know he read some Bible verses, but I don't think he actually took like really hard stances on these sort of things. I mean, obviously he's got his very strict religious doctrine, but didn't he have like gay people in his organization? And I mean, he would just say what it said in the Bible, but I don't think he ever said like, I want you to die, or I want you to burn in hell, or anything like that. Like, pretty sure he was like one of the most moderate voices. It's not like he was some crazy individual or something, right? I mean, I don't know his work very well though, so I could just be wrong. But every time you see one of these deranged loonies that is saying, "Well, I'm glad this Nazi isn't breathing in my air anymore. He was full of such hate." Like, you ask them, like, what did he say? And they don't really tell you anything. So I'm confused. I feel like it's almost like that. I feel like I'm missing part of the picture, but I think it's just that they're insane. He was never like that. Everything right of Mao is considered extreme to the left. It may be the case. Yeah, he was polite and very mild. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is like his entire message was come to the table, right? Like, come debate me, bro. That's it. He's not like one of these crazy revolutionaries. It's like, we're going to kick everyone out of the country if you're, a shade too beige or something. Like, it's nothing like that. So I'm really shocked at why people have such an image of Charlie Kirk like this. It may be the case that it's just the vilification in the media. Like, you see people like South Park making fun of him, and you never really watch his content, but you just assume that he's one of these crazy people because all the people are doing the videos on Jubilee or whatever, or something like that. I think that's got to be part of it or something. In fact, I'm more extreme than him. Is that the case? That's why I moved to a country with no guns.
The fact that he committed the crime was also an easy task to prove, as they forensically recovered a note that he had written and attempted to dispose of, wherein he said, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." On one of his devices, they also found communications with a roommate, not named in the affidavit, about needing to retrieve his rifle. This leads me to think that he acknowledged he'd made a mistake in leaving his weapon behind and wanted to go back to get it. But he took too long, and law enforcement got to it first. With the weapon and the towel it was wrapped up in, they found DNA that was a match for Tyler's. As far as the crime itself, it looked pretty open and shut. That is,
oh my gosh, hold on a second.
that was a match for Tyler's. As far as the crime,
It's all of this. Like you take dad to the Japanese restaurant or whatever. He's eating ramen. The based Chad Mormon father eating ramen, but then the son's eating the raw fish. It's got to be the mercury or something that did this to him. Surely, how could their sweet boy become such a piece of shit?
Crime itself, it looked pretty open and shut. That is, until further consideration was given to other people being potentially involved in the lead up. You see, soon after his capture, Tyler went completely silent and has refused to cooperate with the police, which led the public to discovering en masse that a lot of the finer pieces of information about his online activities came from someone else. While the roommate was initially anonymous, that didn't last long, as a neighbor of Tyler's came forward to speak with the media, and some pretty interesting things were said when the topic came up, and the neighbor claims to have witnessed them together.
Were they holding hands?
Yeah, they were.
He's gay.
So, yeah, they drove off in his car, the Dodge Challenger.
And so they look like they were a couple?
Yeah.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. I remember them talking about a doctor's appointment. It was about
Getting his
2
nuts
weeks
cut
ago,
off?
I'd say.
And they were kissing?
Yeah.
Do you know, where did you see them kissing?
Just coming out.
While there was some initial pushback to the narrative that Tyler was in a relationship with this roommate of his,
That's the funniest thing is every time there's one of these shooters, people are so quick to say, "Oh my goodness, he was MAGA." It's like MAGA's going crazy because the shooter wasn't brown or gay or trans. It's like, well, actually, his family was MAGA and he was dating a gay furry that was transitioning. It's like, no, he wasn't. Yeah, he was. Well, the next one won't be. Okay.
testimony from his neighbor went a long way to solidify this in the public sphere. An unknown source in law enforcement had already attested to the same story, and with this much scrutiny and attention on something, keeping this person's name a secret was basically impossible. Eventually, people found Tyler's Venmo account, where one name stood out: Lance Twiggs, who frequently received money from his mother for prescriptions and doctor's appointments.
What is it with these mums that enable this lifestyle so much? They want to be so special. Oh, my son is one of them. Wow, congratulations.
Fitting what the neighbor had told the media. On Saturday, September 13th, the Daily Mail published...
Also, like, why are you using a public app for sending money to? Just use a bank account. Like, what are you doing? Someone's streaming and you're like sending him super chats. Like, this is $20 for estrogen. Don't spend it all at once. All right. Tyler's roommate, who tipped off FBI's identified his family, refused to deny transgender motive for Charlie Kirk's assassination.
An article identifying this transgender roommate and romantic partner of Tyler Robinson, with the person listed in the affidavit as a cooperator with law enforcement. In it, Lance's TikTok account, Cookies and Cream, was attached, but most of that account's posts consisted of gaming clips. It turns out this account was apparently shared with someone named Quinn, or Youngest Kami on Twitch, who...
Why would you share accounts? That's cringe.
Didn't have any relation to Tyler. In turn, this led people to consider that this may not be Lance's main account. By simply checking the follows on it, you can find Lance's actual account, Lancelotl, although nothing related to Tyler can be found here, mostly because the majority of the posts come from long before Lance would have been his roommate. As this news grew to national proportions, relatives of Lance's began to speak out, claiming that Tyler and Lance hated conservatives and Christians. Going on to say, "I think Tyler got a whole lot worse in the year they've been dating. They are big gamers, and obviously they have that group that influences them as well as others. Lance..."
Is games responsible, chat? Should we ban video games? Was, what's that guy's name? Who was that fucking guy that was trying to ban video games in like the early noughties or 90s or something? Oh shit, I can't remember his name. Like it's like off the top of my head. Like when we were talking about webcomics, they were always talking about this guy. Jack Thompson, yes, Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson was like the bad guy in like so many of these webcomics as well, but he was trying to ban video games for violence and stuff. That name brings me back. Holy shit.
Disclosed that he had a boyfriend, not to me directly. He wanted to have lunch with other family members to introduce his boyfriend. I was afraid he might hurt someone.
How do games keep getting away with this? Well, I mean, you can't spell games without gay, so makes sense.
Lance is not a healthy person. He's very angry with anyone who is supportive of conservative ideals and Christian values. As far as I know, he was not going by another name. I just know he was in the process of transitioning. I know he was trying to take different medications. Now, I should note that I'm exclusively going off of what's on the news, as misinformation related to this aspect of the story peaked on Twitter.
This is some Fortnite-induced psychosis if I've ever seen it.
But based on a collection of testimonies from multiple and mostly anonymous relatives who were spoken to by the media, both Tyler and Lance were black sheep of their families to different degrees. Tyler was mostly described as resigned from any social activity, being a big gamer since a very young age in a way that is almost disarmingly relatable. He wanted to develop games.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Tom?
His friends described him as fun to be around, despite being shy and quiet. Lance, on the other hand...
All right, I want to see this for a second. Let's see. Robinson was quiet all the time, a little goofy, the classmate said, adding he didn't remember him making concerning statements or getting into trouble. He was fun to be around, fun to talk to. He was just kind of shy and didn't open up very often. I think we should put a target on every shy male in a classroom. Just describe myself. Oh no, this is a little bit relatable, except for the gay furry shit.
Described him as fun to be around, despite being shy and quiet. Lance, on the other hand, was seemingly more outspoken and angry about his views, which was described by a relative, which signals a greater degree of comfort expressing them. This also fits their online presence, as Tyler had seemingly no significant public profiles, while Lance had multiple. This includes the aforementioned TikTok, a now privated Instagram account, and possibly the most...
Let's go back for a second and check this
the
out.
aforementioned TikTok, a now private...
So you got this anime gooner shit with a Garfield tie, friendly neighborhood licensed fish finder. What do they mean by that?
Instagram account, and possibly the most revealing one out of all of them, a Reddit account.
Shit. He's guilty. He's guilty. How can Reddit keep fucking getting away with it? It's about how many people, how many bodies have to pile up until Reddit is shut down?
Before I get into the actual contents of Lance's Reddit, it's important to note that due to the lack of information up until this point, a lot of people resorted to creating imagined versions of this person that were convenient to their preconceptions. Some people were prone to immediately and completely exonerate Lance due to his cooperation with law enforcement. Others leaned toward the narrative that he was at least complicit, if not actively pushing or pressuring Tyler to do what he did. Unsurprisingly, neither of these assumptions were...
I mean, it seems pretty reasonable to come to this conclusion. You've got this very angry gay furry boyfriend who's constantly reeing and screeching about evil badman Charlie Kirk, and men have a kind of a desire to, you know, protect and look after people. That's their role in society. So if this person is constantly saying this stuff every day, and you're also an unhinged lunatic, then yeah, it makes sense why they would do this. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's very hard to figure out. Is this Lance? This is Tyler. Wait, this is Lance, sorry. I actually didn't even put Lance in the thumbnail. Oh wait, I didn't even put Tyler in the thumbnail. It doesn't matter. They all look the same to me.
Exactly true. His Reddit history goes back over half a decade, and
that's a really big fucking red flag.
Up until 2024, there are several patterns we can pick up on. For example, very early on, around 2019, you can find references to jokes about killing furries.
I got banned from dank memes. Imagine getting, not only having a Reddit account, that's the first mistake, but then getting banned on Reddit. Even the Redditors thought this person was too extreme. I got banned from dank memes because I posted a meme about shooting furries. Where's it at? Ironically, now his furry boyfriend is going to be shot. How funny how these things work out.
Criticisms to J.K. Rowling for making
J.K. Rowling homosexuality every HP character. I mean, J.K. Rowling does like throw in this weird shit though, like making Dumbledore gay was so stupid. Like if it was in the story, fine, but it wasn't.
Making Harry Potter characters gay, and even positive comments on campaigns like "It's okay to be white," as well as criticism.
What was he saying about that? Let's see.
And even positive.
Let's see. Have you seen Black Twitter? Black Twitter is so fucking funny. Like flies on shit when it comes to hive mind inducing. Whoa. Whoa, buddy. Most of the time, it has some anti-white message behind it. It's okay to be white. Prepare to be destroyed. No, Black Twitter is so fucking funny.
of comments on campaigns like "It's okay to be white," as well as criticisms of how
Let's see. If our black people Twitter is going to ban white people, then our white people should, I guess the rest of the sentence is, should ban black people.
black people were socially allowed to exclude white people from their spaces, but not the other way around. Clearly, in 2019, Lance wasn't what you'd call a staunch left-winger, to say the least. But something changed in 2020. Before, Lance often made positive posts, relating to other Reddit users over his intent of getting his video game addiction under control, wanting to start lifting weights again, get good grades, and find a girlfriend.
So he literally wanted to get good. I'm kind of curious about some of these posts now. Let's see. You know what? Fuck everything. I'm going to get a girlfriend. This hurts because the same thing is happening. Like, you should have just done it. Like, if he just got a girlfriend, it would have all been solved.
And made positive posts relating to other Reddit users over his intent of getting his video game addiction under.
Let's see. I never think good about myself. I keep failing in school because I'm addicted to video games. I'm going to improve now. I'm going to quit video games. I'm going to start training again. I'm going to get good grades and get a girlfriend. 4 exclamation points. When I achieve all of this, I will write an update post and make you all proud. Fuck yeah, I'm having a motivational moment. Okay, so I went to sleep with 100 upvotes and 9 followers. It's a complete blow. I promise you I will not fail. Well, he failed. Spoiler alert, but he failed. He didn't get good grades. He didn't start training again. He didn't get a girlfriend. In fact, it was the opposite. He had the recipe was here for success, and he failed to follow the directions.
Control, wanting to start lifting weights again, get good grades, and find a girlfriend.
Should've just
After
got good.
2020, one of the first significant posts on his account is him arguing with other people over transgenderism. Specifically, Lance can be seen calling his old self transphobic and claiming that children should be allowed to transition. It also seems he began exploring existentialist philosophy.
All right, been studying a lot of Stoicism principles recently, as well as Nietzsche. I'm sure I spelled that wrong. I've adopted a lot of Stoicism principles, specifically working to keep myself in the present and have more expanded worldview of my life every day. Also, I really like my Mr. Frederick's ideas that suffering is a bit of madness and I would lead one to seeking enlightenment, making the ability to reach a truer point of peace difficult with having a negative, painful situation that you wish to be out of as a start. Have you noticed that the least stoic people are the ones that always talk about Stoicism or Stoicism?
Taking an interest in Nietzsche and Stoicism as they related to managing suffering.
Stoicism is a joke, chat. I know. I'm saying it wrong on purpose. It's a meme. Okay.
And negative/painful situations that you wish to be out of. By 2022, he was already posting to subreddits like Femboy.
Oh no, I just heard that he's posting to Femboy subreddits already. Oh no, make it stop. Make it fucking stop. Like, anyone that you see talking about getting fit or getting their life in shape or whatever doesn't actually do it. Like, if you're going to do these things, you just do them. You don't talk about it. Like, just go out there and make it. Like, this is what's so annoying when you see someone like the quartering is like saying, I'm going to start going to church. I'm going to have kids. Well, good luck with that. I'm going to start not having diarrhea every day. And I'm going to change America. Like, I'm going to lose weight. Like, no, just go do it. Don't talk about doing it. Just go do it. In fact, I've actually read something that said that if you tell people about your plans, you're less likely to achieve them. Because, like, if you say, I'm going to go lose weight, then you kind of get a little bit of a dopamine reward in your brain already, because you're getting some of the reward for doing for the thing that you want to do, but you haven't done it yet. So your brain is already convinced. There's like, well, I've already got the reward. I already feel good about myself. I don't really need to follow through with it. So that's why I don't tell anyone what I'm planning to do. The only things you hear me talking about planning to do is just like random shit that's never going to happen.
_IRL and r/196, both of
Wait, that said Femboy Friday? Gross.
which are well known for their predominantly trans user base. This isn't to say he was a conventional left-winger, though, as multiple posts signaled that he was sufficiently far left, and that he no longer believed in political parties altogether, claiming that all they were after was money. Another interesting sign here is his continued investment not only in video games, but also in websites like 4chan, and more specifically, the R9K board.
No. Policia. Not Robot 9K. That is so cringe. Like, even me as an avid 4chan user, when I decided to have a look in Robot 9K, it was so fucking cringe. Oh my goodness.
you want a slightly deeper dive into what goes on R9K, you can watch my video about Reiko's femboy cult, but
4chan's femboy blackmail cult. I think we did watch that one. It's pretty funny.
to make a long story short, it's infamous for being full of rabid incels, transgender people, and combinations of the two, all of whom are bonding over feeling socially excluded or otherwise dysfunctional. If
You know, when I was talking yesterday a little bit how I don't believe in the idea that you could just like go scream into a pillow or something if you're mad, or if you like you go into the woods and scream at these like witch conventions or whatever, it's not good for you because you're kind of training your body to get catharsis from these sort of physical acts or these outbursts, and that's why it's important you have to like to regulate your own emotions. So that's why even when I'm really frustrated, like I don't go punch a wall or I don't go scream into a pillow, because I know it's ultimately I'll be teaching myself a bad habit. And like these sort of, I think these forums are in the same way, kind of the same thing. Like if you go in edgy post about how life is so bad and how, oh my goodness, the Chads and Stacys, they're like, you're just like reinforcing these own ideas in your head. And I think it is destructive in a very real way. So what I'm saying is don't cringe post and your life will get better. Because if you go cringe post, I'm just venting my cringe. Oh my goodness, I can't get a 10 out of 10 Stacy girlfriend because I'm not 6'1". I'm actually 5'11". Like that, you really start to believe that, I think. Like very much the way that if you just put a smile on your face, like this sounds so cringe and so like boomerish, but like if you just put a smile on your face, it does make yourself happier for some reason. If you're having a bad time, yeah, find someone to talk about it, but don't revel in your depression. Don't glorify these sort of bad acts and these depression, basically depression porn is what it is. Don't do that shit. Like just fake it till you make it. Like put on a happy face and pretend your life is fantastic, and you'll schizo trick yourself into thinking your life is good, and then your life will be good because it's funny thing is if you just act more happy, people are more open to you. This is like a really weird thing to say. I think it's like it's so boomerish. I'm starting to think that sounding a lot more like my parents, but who knows? I think that's the case. Do you guys agree with me or not? Let me know. This is the Copium arc. Just stop. Yeah, exactly. Just literally, you think it's hard, but it's not. Just stop being depressed. Yes. Like trust me on this, okay? Let's hypothetically, if you are depressed and you fake being happy, you put on a smile, you go outside and you talk to people, or you stay in your room and talk about being depressed on 4chan, which of these two story arcs do you think will have a happy ending? It kind of is. You just fake it till you make it. Now, if you've got something really dark in your history, maybe you need to find someone more important to talk to, like maybe a family member, or a church member, or like a therapist or something. I'm not going to pretend that some people don't have these really big issues, but like literally just get good and fake it till you make it. If you're homeless, just get a house. Exactly. Like, come on now. Like this is what happened in the UK, actually. I was reading this. I was going to talk about this, but like maybe I should make a segment where I talk about the UK. But I was reading a story, and I didn't know if it was verified or not, so I don't know if it's true. So don't quote me on it or anything. But I was reading this story about this person that said that they were home invaded in the UK. They got kicked out, and their keys were stolen. And when they called the cops, the people that robbed their house said that they lived there and they were tenants, and that she was the landlord. And then the cops said to this UK lady, "Well, I guess this is a civil dispute, not a criminal dispute." So like they literally just walked into the house and got a house. So actually, you joke if you're homeless, get a house. Apparently it works in the UK. Maybe we'll check if that's a real story one day. I think I'd rather just believe it's real and don't care about the truth because it's funny. Oh my goodness, UK bros. I hope you're okay over there.
If you've been listening to what I've been saying, then I think you're starting to get the idea. All of this automatically put Lance squarely outside of the regular political
Squatting
spectrum.
I know squatting is a real thing, but squatters typically have to take over an abandoned house. And squatting rules are very, very funny. And Asian Andy trying to get that like gypsy squatter out of their house was a very funny arc of the IP2 stuff. But like actually just breaking into someone's house, beating them up and kicking them out, and then saying that you're a tenant is so it's so beyond the pale that it just has to be okay. It just has to be a UK thing, right?
While he was clearly
It's a different thing
left-wing,
entirely.
he definitely felt ambivalent about a lot of issues. For example, in one instance, he actually made fun of people who got upset that the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, had donated to Republican politicians.
I remember
and
this.
complained
Like, so Scott Cawthon is a very hardcore Christian and also Republican. And actually, that's why Five Nights at Freddy's became so popular in the first place. Basically, he was trying to make Christian games, and they were all very wildly unpopular. And people were saying that all of his models looked super creepy and they had this uncanny valley to them. So he's just like, well, well, screw you guys. If you think all my models are creepy, I'm just going to make a horror game. And that's like literally how he made Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And now he's like, he's not rich, but he must be getting close to it. Like, he's going to a crazy amount of money. But yeah, he started donating to, I think, Ted Cruz. And people on Reddit were having a fucking fit about it and stuff like that. Like, there was like this whole like Five Nights at Freddy's civil war over it, actually.
about incessant Russia versus Ukraine discussions creeping into the subreddits he frequented. At a surface level, Lance wasn't an extremely rigorous left-winger. He posted on the Jordan Peterson subreddit criticizing echo chambers and expressing
Interesting. What did he actually say about Jordan? What was this thing that he said?
winger. He posted on the Jordan
Honestly, I think everyone's going to land in these pitfalls. It's part of being human. Doing your best to recognize and remedy that is all you can do. Keep the strongest truth close to your heart and don't be easily swayed in any direction without strong and well put together reason. I mean, this sounds reasonable so far. Even then, you'll sometimes realize that the environment, friends, or communities that you choose to spend time with aren't helping you grow or progress, or may otherwise be pushing towards an echo chamber. Being able to take a step away and reprioritize is the best that you can do. You just aren't ever in a situation you didn't want to be in. Chances are you never go out and meet people in general. Remember that just discussing a topic doesn't mean falling into an ideological pitfall. Keep your statements and opinions in line with each other and make your own opinions based on factual evidence you have seen or read. I mean, this is good advice so far, but why didn't you just take it then? I think the largest pitfall anyone would fall into is simply take to heart the opinions they see on social media. If you don't choose a side will many times choose you. Keep yourself grounded mentally and emotionally, and don't worry yourself about being infallible. I mean, this is good advice. Again, just take your own advice.
Peterson subreddit criticizing echo chambers and expressing his distaste for how much of the sub had been overtaken with political discussions, while also specifying that Jordan had been pivotal to his personal growth, complimenting his 12 Rules for Life book and defending him from detractors. Another expression.
Such a wild turn of events, honestly. So he literally subscribed to the ideals of wash your penis and clean your room, and then he still turned out as a gay furry. How does this happen? Maybe Jordan Peterson was talking about lobsters too many times or something.
Of his lack of political rigor is that while he posted a lot on a joke sub called Love for Landlords, which
that is a funny one. I'll admit it.
sarcastically praises landlords while depicting them as the most cruel and greedy capitalists imaginable, he also posted to r/no-working, which parodied the infamous leftist sub r/anti-work. But make no mistake, in spite of his overall lax attitude towards politics, there were some things he took more seriously, and he only grew to take them more seriously as time went on. First off, he unsurprisingly had a more concerned approach when it came to gender ideology, condemning misgendering, and even raising an issue with how the left commodified the trans rights cause. Oddly enough, his post about it is on the r/anarcho-capitalism subreddit, although it doesn't seem like Lance has any other activity associated with libertarianism, besides a few passing comments on the legalization of drugs.
It just seems like he was overdosing on Reddit, and that's fatal. It's inoperable when you get the Reddit brain cancer. He was addicted to so many Reddits that he had to go to every page and every different political subforum.
Before he had any cohesive political beliefs, from a young age, Lance struggled with substance abuse. While he took an interest in subreddits like r/shrooms and r/acid, it's his post on r/alcoholism that is the most revealing out of all of them. And
what's worse, being a Redditor or being an alcoholic? Of course, together they're deadly. But which one is worse on it? Which one is more embarrassing? Because I mean, when you have an intervention for an alcoholic, it's like a room of your friends, right? And they're like, listen, the first thing they say is, we love you. And we're going to be here to help you through. But nobody loves a Redditor. So that's interesting.
A reply to someone talking about how alcohol can cause blackouts, he wrote, "I appreciate the resources. I'll definitely read through the Alcohol Explained book. The blackout piece was solid. I don't think about choking. I am so glad I can't fall asleep on my back. It kind of saved me there. Lol. I kind of feel like it's too late on the addiction part because I did a ton of weed earlier in my teens, and I can tell it messed with my energy and attention levels. And I mean this in no edgy or depressing way, but I don't really see myself making it past about 25 at this rate. So I'm not too worried about the long-term effects. I think I'll wait until legal age at least to try any alcohol again though." While this is quite revealing on its own, with Lance expressing a certain degree of hopelessness about his own life expectancy, it gets more interesting when you check the other comments on this thread and notice he's replying to all of them. Based
Guarantee it was the energy drink. So Monster Energy is responsible for tuning out this kid. I should have known.
on this, despite the original thread now being deleted and having its contents, as well as who created it, hidden, the Wayback Machine reveals what was originally there. In the thread's body, Lance, who would be 19 or 18 at the time this thread was made, tells a story in which Lance drank anywhere from half to a whole bottle of 40% vodka in 2 hours, while
I remember my first drink too.
While simultaneously being high, blacked out, and waking up with vomit everywhere. Clearly, there was something wrong with him. And other posts also have him talking.
Oh no, I don't have a gag reflex, but I was bulimic, and quite frankly, the trick is just learning how to use your stomach muscles to puke on command. Not a good healthy solution. There are more ways than a gag reflex to throw up on command. Oh dear, dear, dear.
About suffering from bulimia. Although there are some associations between
Regan or Regan? Not really. I do drink Monster from time to time, but mostly I'm a coffee man.
Eating disorders and substance abuse, and also with both of those things and gender dysphoria, what's important to focus on here is how it all contributes to his aforementioned hopelessness. The idea that he'll be dying soon no matter what. Based on other posts of his, Lance identified himself and his friends as a...
That reminds me, like the gag reflex thing reminds me of a another webcomic. So there's a really funny webcomic called Oglaf, but it's very adult, okay? Or it's like OGLAFA, I think. Oglaf? It's really funny at times, but it's very sexual. And there's one of the comics, there's like a cursed genie or something, and there's like this peasant finds it, and it's like a monkey's paw sort of thing, and he's like, "I'm gonna make you the best of the world at something," and he's like, "It's done." And it's like, "Well, what am I?" I'm like, "Well, you're the best in the world at sucking dick," and he's like, "But I'm a straight guy." It's like, yeah, you don't have to suck dick, but you are the best at the world at it. Can you go through life not using your best ability? The choice is yours. And then the rest of the comic is this guy like he's at the bar or something, and it's just like, "You're famous for anything, kid?" And he's like, "Well, actually, I'm the best of the world at something." It's like, "Well, what are you the best of the world at?" He's like, "Well, never mind." And that's kind of where the comic ends. But it's like this kid is just like he's like, "Well, I'm bulimic because I'm a twink. Now I've got no gag like reflex. May as well become a gay furry, I suppose." Right? I don't know. Maybe they predicted it. Maybe there was a reader of Oglaf as well.
Abandoning religious beliefs, and even described a situation in which his family basically disowned him relating to it. While this matches the testimony of one of Lance's relatives, it doesn't tell the full story, as he continued to live with his family for a good while after. Even after he moved out to be roommates with Tyler, the Venmo shows he continued to get money sent to him by his parents, and it's quite likely they helped them with their housing, since the place they shared cost $1,800 a month. What? And as far as
it's like 3 times more expensive than my apartment. Americans are cooked.
As is publicly known, neither of them had very good jobs to afford that kind of place. Even if they had issues with them, both Lance and Tyler appeared to receive continuous support from their families despite their lifestyle. While there has been a lot of conflicting information about this, Lance was indeed undergoing a transition, at least as of a year ago, as he could
trans DYI. Like that Reddit shouldn't exist. Come on now. They're like boiling paper bags. They're boiling plastic bags to get out the xenoestrogens or something. They're going to turn them into xenomorphs themselves, honestly. Also, a new member says, "Thank you very much, Tangerine. Much appreciated." Coffee makes you feel horrible. I know some people get like anxiety from coffee or something. I don't. My secret is I'm anxious all the time. But there's something you can take. Like there's some vitamin. If you take it when you drink coffee, it doesn't give you that feeling. I can't remember what it's called though. But you could try looking that up. It might help you out.
be seen talking about the effects of HRT on r/trans DIY about a year ago. Soon
This person unironically was like probably following Keffels through the whole Keffels arc. Whatever happened to Keffels? Did they just take the money and run? Right? They try streaming again or some shit? There was a point in time where Keffels was as big as Destiny. And now they're just like completely irrelevant. Because they like went to they scammed $100,000 and went to Ireland or something. Coffee gives you panic attacks. Can't imagine that feeling. How many tatami mats is your apartment? 4.5 tatami. Yeah, it's not that big. I mean, it's not 6 tatami mat size, but it's small. But I have no tatami mats actually here. But like when I was living in the countryside, I had like a 3 LDK. It was a big house, like a 3-bedroom. Oh, not 3-bedroom. It had like a kitchen / dining room, then 3 rooms, and that was like only $500 a month. It's kind of crazy how cheap Japanese housing is. Show tatami, that's not going to happen.
after that, about 10 months ago as of me writing this, he already mentioned having a boyfriend, which coincides with the reports he was in a relationship with Tyler. There's one last bit of info that I think is worth correcting. There's been some speculation that Lance's Instagram bio having the word fish finder is some kind of coded message about grooming minors into becoming
So Laura Loomer has the funniest character arc, I think. Like, isn't she now like the press secretary for the president? Laura Loomer and her dirty bloomers, when she tried to scam people out of $50 for tires or something. This is an Instagram account that belongs to Lance Twiggs, the transgender furry boyfriend of Tyler Robinson, the man who murdered Charlie Kirk. His bio says friendly neighborhood licensed fish finder. In the trans community, especially among young trans, fish is slang for a term that refers to trans women and drag queens who pass as well as women. The trans community is this true? I mean, if that is a term in the trans community and they're literally using fish finder, like what other context would you be using this in? I think it's fairly reasonable, right?
trans. While that is a very real phenomenon, with the likes of Giggly Goon Clown being obsessed with doing exactly that, in this case, it's incorrect. Not only is Lance on the record years ago talking about how much he likes going fishing, but he also has some posts criticizing online trans communities for calling other people eggs, which basically...
I mean, he could like fishing, but then still be using this term in that community. I don't know if this is very conclusive evidence by Mr. Thomas.
Means they're trans but haven't discovered themselves yet. With all of this established and paired with testimonies from their relatives, there was nothing particularly unusual about their upbringing. This extremely sad and dark picture from Tyler's mom's Facebook shows...
Your friend sold X to her once in Palm Beach. You mean Laura Loomer? I mean, this comment has to be true. I believe it.
Him in 2013 playing a game on his computer. Lance is no different, although instead of performing really well academically like Tyler, Lance actually seemed more socially well-adjusted and artistically inclined.
My name is Lance Twiggs. I am playing country concerto for young pianists, and I like piano because it gives me something other than playing video games to do with my fingers.
But from 2019
like Tom
to 2024, both of them slowly moved from somewhat apolitical to left-wing, with a large emphasis on the topic of trans rights. While Lance's was well documented through his own Reddit, Tyler's was quieter. But there, nonetheless, a former classmate of his described him as being a Reddit kid, seemingly just like some...
Oh my goodness. Not only is he an actual Reddit kid, they actually describe him as thus.
Something happened in 2020. A similar effect took place in 2024 when Lance and Tyler moved in together, and their families started to notice both of them feeding off of each other and becoming more politically inclined. For a few days after the assassination, the exact dynamic between them was unknown, but
I know a Reddit kid too. I mean, he's like an adult. He's like 40 years old. But like he's always like showing me his phone and trying to... Well, I mean, I haven't seen him in a while. Because of the Reddit, obviously. But like he's just always sharing like the deep fried memes and like stuff, and I don't know, you can't, it's inoperable, the Reddit brain cancer.
A few days ago, their final Discord messages to one another were released, and they read as follows. Tyler, drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. Lance, what? You're joking, right? Here, Tyler is referencing the note I had mentioned earlier that had been destroyed and was recovered, where he declared he was going to take Charlie's life. Their conversation continued. Tyler, I'm still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you.
Now, these are the messages that people are saying are concocted purely to absolve the roommate of any involvement. I think for a conspiracy theory, I'd be much more inclined to listen to this one than that Tyler wasn't the shooter. I've seen no evidence to suggest that. And anytime I ask people for any evidence or any other reason or motive so that it was not Tyler Robinson, they just tell me like, I'm good government cattle or something. Like, I'm open to the conversation. It's a very high barrier of entry with the evidence that you need. That's all I ask is something. If you have nothing and you're saying like, you can't believe that this guy is a shooter, can you? And then I'm like, well, who could it be and for what reason? And then you just don't tell me anything. So the simplest answer is usually what it is.
Lance, you weren't the one who did it, right? Tyler. I'm sorry. Lance, I thought they caught the person. Tyler, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet. Almost quiet enough to get out. But there's one vehicle lingering. Lance, why? Tyler, why did I do it? Lance, yeah.
I'll put a poll up in chat. We'll see. The poll has decided to remove all porn games from Steam, by the way. So sorry, Gooners, it's over for you. Were these messages staged? We'll say. You can post them like so. When I say staged, it can be for any reason, but primarily when I say staged, what I mean is he's making these messages so obvious, so that he can absolve his boyf of any guilt. I have a hard time actually believing that, but I could see the theory for sure. It's just that I know how dumb current college kids are, so this seems like so straightforward and obvious. It seems like, well, nobody talks is like that. Well, they do actually. Unfortunately, the sad thing is that they really do talk like this because they have no social skills.
And Tyler responds with the following diatribe. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Lance, how long have you been planning this? Tyler, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge, ooh.
So that's kind of like a real huge fucking red flag. You're living with his boyfriend and he's just sitting in the corner one night engraving bullets. Yeah, that seems like reasonable behavior. He didn't think to maybe get the fuck out at that point. As I tell you, I've never seen anyone just engraving bullets. But if I see... is this something Americans do? They just engrave their bullets? I don't think so, right? So, I don't know. I think that, like, oh my goodness, you were engraving bullets last week and you're the guy that shot him? How could this happen? I'm going to press X to doubt on that one.
Woo on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this.
So let's see. Abacus Finch says of the 10. One theory out there is that they faked those texts because the trans boyfriend was the one that did it and Tyler purposely took the fall. I mean, if that was the case, though, then it seems like Tyler and the boyfriend have totally different physiques. And Tyler was the one that's on the camera, both recognized by his father and the one that was jumping off the roof in the same clothes. So, like, for them to get away with this, they would have had to have switched clothes or be wearing the same clothes on that day, which doesn't make sense. Remember, there is, and I know you're just telling me about this theory, not necessarily that you believe it, but they literally have him recorded. Well, actually, no, he was wearing different clothes when he left his house. That's true. Like at the beginning of the video, that's what he was like. We're at 32.50. Because he does change clothes. You know, to be fair, he was wearing a different set of clothes when he left his house on the day in question. He changed in his car. Where did I say we were? We were right here, right? 34.50 or 30.50. He did change his clothes. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
The contents of the messages are genuine. It's technically possible that Lance and Tyler coordinated this exchange beforehand to exonerate Lance of any cooperation, given the pretty performative nature of some of Tyler's messages especially. Given they did live together and shared political views, it's not impossible. But at the same time, it's also possible that, indeed, Tyler concocted and carried this plan out on his own. Given Lance was more expressive and even-minded, while Tyler was much harder to read even by his close friends, it could be that the latter was a ticking time bomb, and his political beliefs about Charlie Kirk, paired with his attachment to Lance, who was trans, were enough to set him off. As it currently stands, Tyler is potentially facing the death penalty, and Lance is nowhere to be seen or heard from. For many people, this was case.
Maybe Lance was the one that was activated. Maybe Lance is the FBI agent, and he groomed this boy to be his assassin with MK Ultra mind control.
Closed. But other people have pitched the possibility that even if Lance had no foreknowledge, it doesn't mean other people couldn't have. Beyond those I've mentioned earlier in the video, there were a few other suspicious details surrounding the whole incident. For example, a neighbor of theirs claimed that 2 weeks prior to the attack, several people driving cars with out-of-state plates were seen going in and out. Additionally, there were a couple of change.org petitions by locals who were vehemently opposed to Charlie Kirk speaking at the university.
Transassin, that's very funny. You know, the really weird thing that people have been saying recently is that the reverse of an assassin is dick out. Think about it for a second.
University, and some of the comments got pretty questionable. Besides the name-calling and political accusations, there were some comments like, no tolerance for Nazis like Kirk, stop the speaking or someone else will. Of course, this could just be someone making a baseless threat due to how they felt about Charlie, but it goes deeper. A day prior to the assassination, a now-deleted TikTok account called Definitely Not Jackson made a post with the captions, Charles James Kirk, Mr. College Dropout, does not know what's coming tomorrow. Be ready. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. It's a bad day to be Charlie tomorrow. #UVU. Again, this could just be a reference to the debate itself as some illusion that Charlie will get owned or something in the marketplace of ideas. But there's also more. 5 days prior.
I mean, the thing about this is that, like, they've amplified Charlie's message. He won the debate. His words were so intimidating to these people that they couldn't just go talk to him and debate. They had to silence him with force because they knew they could not do anything to him in the marketplace of ideas. So it's kind of a stupid thing to do for many reasons, but for that one especially, like the amount of people that are just like Charlie's messages are now resonating with. So congratulations, I guess.
Prior to the shooting, a Twitter user named Fuyoshi Incel said, "You
Jesus
guys,
Christ.
I have something big coming soon. Just be sure to check the news. You'll know it when you see it. Winky emoji face." And within a few hours of the assassination, he came back to say, "Well, that's that. Another chud bites the dust." This account currently appears to be completely gone. Lastly, a TikTok and Twitter user who followed Lance Twiggs by the name of Churbum75M, as soon as the attack took place, tweeted out, "We did it." Adding insult to injury, he followed it up with, "Charlie Kirk deserved that. Let it die." On his TikTok, he set his account to the picture of the moment Kirk was shot, along with a lot of other vile posts about it.
How many people were fired for these comments? I think the count was like up to like 800 or more. And that was a week ago. This is probably over 1,000 at this point. It's so funny that people complaining about it. Like, no, you can't fire me. You can't fire for me for saying a fucked up shit. Hey, they're the ones that have been saying freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence for the longest time. So you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
By merely searching up his handle on Twitter,
There's no way it's
easy
at
to find
30,000.
that just days prior,
It's like
he was in
1,000,
hot
but I'm
water
pretty sure it's
for
1,000.
insincerely apologizing for making offensive jokes in a Discord server. With all of those elements put together, this matched the profile of unconventional leftists that would be expected. Churbum eventually shared conversations he'd had with a friend of his, where his friend is saying, "We aren't even old enough to hold a gun without a weapon charge." But of course, at this point, the concern wasn't that anyone besides Tyler actually did it, but instead, that other people knew that he would beforehand. He eventually made a tweet claiming that it was all a misunderstanding and he was just an immature teenager scared for his life. Despite tweeting out many times afterwards asking to be left alone and saying that joking about people dying is wrong, Sherbum continued to make light of what happened, leading many people to be suspicious. Whatever the case is with any of these specific accounts, people are innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not making this video to endorse doxing anyone because of what they post on Twitter. If there is genuine suspicion, it should be handled by the authorities. And on the 16th of September, nearly a week after the incident, it was announced by the FBI that there were a lot more than 20 people in Tyler's Discord chat, and that all of them were now under FBI investigation. Another
Safa Discord users. Safa.
interesting claim is that there was a broad network of groups with intel on Kirk's assassination and the subsequent announcement of investigation of NGOs, although what exactly this means has yet to be seen. What it could be related to is the recent discovery related to the Utah-based group Armed Queers SLC. Founded in 2020,
It's a bit weird. Armed Queer, let's see. Queer Resistance, Agitate, Educate, Organize. Armed Queers SLC X Mecca. Huh. Armed Queers and Mecca want you to come learn about the radical history of queer liberation movement. Sounds gay.
related to the Utah-based group Armed Queers SLC. Founded in 2020, Armed Queers identified itself as a revolutionary LGBTQ organization whose principles included the end of capitalist oppression and trans liberation.
Can somebody please explain to me why capitalism is always in this thing? It's like, I want to cut off my dick and have tits and also end capitalism. Why? The surgery that you're demanding is only being funded by capitalism. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, come on. Like, you think that the glorious socialist republic is going to be spending money? Of course they're not, because they're going to be trying to feed them fucking selves.
At face value, it looks like
very funny.
Nothing out of the ordinary for this kind of collective, but it was discovered that this group was founded and led by a certain Ermia Fanayan, who had won an award from the Utah Council for Citizens Diplomacy in 2022, was once listed by the Utah Global Diplomacy NGO as a young diplomat of Utah, and was listed as being on the payroll of the Utah State Democratic Committee. The scope of this kind of thing is unassumingly huge, as Ermia was a speaker at a UN-affiliated event, and the Utah Global Diplomacy received most of its income directly from government grants. As early as 2019, Ermia can be seen on stage alongside people like Elizabeth Warren. 4 years.
What a dumb fucking slogan. Persist, persist. It's not catchy. Elizabeth Warren has to have the worst branding of any other, like any politician.
2019, Ermia.
It only took like Trump's calling her Pocahontas like once to end her career.
Can be seen on stage alongside people like Elizabeth Warren. 4 years later, in January 2023, Armed Queers made now deleted posts about working with the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club. 2 years after that, just 2 months ago, on the 14th of July, 10 to 12 members of this gun club gathered near an ICE detention center, setting off fireworks and vandalizing vehicles with phrases like ice pig and traitor in an attempt to draw out officers. They then proceeded to open fire on several unarmed officers nearby, succeeding in killing none of them, but they did injure one officer in the neck. Immediately,
I think I saw some memes about this where like they had them trying to shoot the officers, but then Charlie Coke's ghost was like changing the trajectory of the bullets, and they ended up didn't they shoot like two of the detained people as well? Like I think they shot 2 of the detained illegals in the neck. Something like that, like something crazy like that. They didn't hit any of the actual ICE members.
Immediately after, all of them were arrested and had their property seized. Multiple of the people arrested had prior criminal histories of similar crimes. Of course, everything I'm saying here is circumstantial, but still, it seems to be enough that the FBI is currently investigating Ermia about
That was
her
a different
potentially having...
okay, there's just too many. There's just too many uprisings in America, apparently.
Some relation, not just to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but also to any other similar crimes that have occurred recently. Ultimately, it's impossible to know just how much sprawl this kind of thing has, but considering how massive organizations and cults like the Zizians or 764 have gotten, it's best to sort this out as...
Wait, what is this shit? Does anyone know more about those 764 or Zizians? This is the first I'm hearing about them. Inquiring minds want to know, chat. I know some of you schizos in the chat know all about them too.
Early as possible before any other crimes can take place. Whatever the case may be, it's an absolute tragedy
Is it
that
worth
Charlie
looking up?
Kirk lost his life. To a lesser degree, it's also a tragedy that people like Tyler got to the
Well,
point
tell
of
me about the
committing such a
Zizians.
crime. Hopefully, nothing of this kind ever happens again. I've been Turkey Tom.
Proper
Thanks for
Amphiphon.
watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
All right, we'll see something from Turkey Troon in the future, perhaps. What is this? All right, what is this shit? Hold on, put this back here. 746. It's a rabbit hole. Is there any quick things that I can read about this out of curiosity? All right, 746 is a decentralized, internationally operating online sextortion network that is ideologically aligned with satanic, misanthropic, and accelerationist terror network called the Order of Nine Angels. It emerged in 2021 from the Cult Network. Is this related to that chick from Smallville? Because I was watching something about that recently. That's pretty crazy. The Cult. What's this? Order of Nine Angels. Huh. Maniac Murder Cult, MKY. Interesting. No, no lives matters. Base can be described as a nihilistic, accelerationist, and terrorist cell. The NLM promotes murder, mass murder, and other criminal acts, encouraging members to engage in self-harm and animal people. Well, that's gay. That's gay. If you're gonna off yourself, but don't hurt the animals. Come on now, they're doing their best. Has this got to do with the fem or whatever it is, the sextortion? I'm gonna be careful not to click on any of this shit. Or we're gonna liable to get myself banned. Basically, extremist doomers. Being a doomer is like the stupidest ideology, in my opinion. Oh no, everything's terrible. I'm just gonna give up. Well, then fuck off. Fuck off. If you're already resigned to failure, then just go away, in my opinion. Life can always get better. It can always get better. If you're at the bottom of a pit, then dig up, like they do in Rings of Power. Okay, they literally dig up. At least, yeah, you could go get some Canadian healthcare if it's that bad. All right, guys. Tomorrow, we might be here tomorrow. It depends if I'm drugged by my accountant or not. So I do plan to do another stream tomorrow and then a gaming stream on Saturday. But we'll see. There's no promises. If it is a stream tomorrow, because I'll probably have no prep time at all, it'll probably just be a bog standard Friday stream. Maybe the illustrious Metal Gear Solid 5 stream. Yeah, maybe. Good luck with that. Maybe we'll play some Hollow Knight or something. Who knows? I've been enjoying Hollow Knight, but like I feel like Hollow Knight has a lot of running around. Like I wish there was more boss fights, but I'm enjoying it quite a bit. There's a lot of exploration, and I think like Silksong has more action in it, so I want to finish Hollow Knight so I can get back to Silksong. But doing so good so far. Go feed the accountant. Yeah, I'm being eaten out of house and home over here by every organization and stuff. All right, guys. Peace. Have a good one. Maybe see you tomorrow.